What's next now that Hunter Biden has been found guilty on all 3 felony gun charges, and how will this play out for his tax fraud trial in California? Joining us now is attorney and author of Killing Time with John Gacy, Karen Conti. Karen, good morning to you and welcome back to the National Desk. So Hunter Biden convicted on all 3 felony charges. You know, it was a pretty quick verdict. What did you make of the case in the trial?
Well, I thought the evidence was overwhelming. I mean, he wrote in his book that he was an addict. Everybody in his life knew he was an addict. He knew he was an addict. And I think the defense was basically feel sympathy for him because he was an addict. But I think the jury made quick meat of that and did the right thing and looked at the facts and looked at the law. And he was certainly guilty of these crimes.
It was pretty simple for them. He does face up to 25 years in prison on all 3 charges. How much time, though, do you think he will serve, if any at all?
Probably not a whole lot, and here's why. He doesn't have a criminal history, and he's rehabilitated. I mean, he's done the work. He's gone through rehab. He's been clean and sober, and there were really no victims of this crime. So again, even though they're serious charges, I just don't see him doing much prison time here at all.
So what's next for him following this conviction, and how will this affect his upcoming tax fraud trial? He's facing 9 felony tax charges in California. How does that affect that?
Well, I think it's going to be bad for these charges because those tax charges are more serious than these gun charges. And if he gets convicted of the tax charges, then when he comes to sentencing, he's going to have a criminal history, and the court can take that into account when sentencing him. So I think he's going to have some trouble with that. And also, he may not want to testify in that trial because he is going to have a criminal history that he can be cross-examined on. So this is a problem for him.
And there is some talk of the gun laws at issue in this case. Of course, it was interesting how his team, his defense team, tried to deem that some of them were unconstitutional. What is the argument, and do you think this could go all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court?
I believe it is going to go to the Supreme Court, and it's kind of strange because Joe Biden was in favor of these laws,
right,
requiring you to be honest when you disclose things on your gun application. And I think Hunter Biden is going to say those laws are unconstitutional. The argument is that the Second Amendment, according to the Supreme Court, is very strong, and everybody has a right to have a gun in their home when they're walking around, except if there is a law that is narrowly crafted to protect people. And you have to go back to the time of the founders in the 1700s to see if there was a similar type of barring of having guns. So the court is going to look and see whether or not there was a law back in 1791 that said that addicts can't have guns. And my guess is there probably wasn't. And so this could be overturned on appeal.
Wow. And you think that the U.S. Supreme Court could be the court that overturns it?
Yes, I believe that, and I think they're going to take it because they don't have to take that case, but I think they will because they're very interested in Second Amendment rights, and this presents a very important and interesting issue.
What's the timeline on that, do you think?
It's going to take a while because there's going to be first an appeal to another court, and then that is going to play out with briefs and arguments, and then it's going to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to decide whether to take it, and then briefing and arguments and opinions. So I think years is when this is going to finally be done. And of course, Biden is going to ask for a stay of any prison sentence pending the final outcome of these appeals.
A lot to think about here, and a lot could change and a lot could happen in the next coming months. All right, attorney Karen Conti, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.